Good morning. We are here this morning with Ajua. She's coming to us from New York, and we're here to just continue to talk about get out the vote. I've known Ajua over the years. Yes, I've lived in New York the majority of my life since I was 15 years old. So, that's a heart. That's my heart right there. And so even though I'm in Virginia, I like to reach back or reach down. Yeah, reach down, reach up, reach up. you know, I still call New York my home. And today I just wanted to use my platform in any kind of way I can to help get out the vote. And today is National Black the Vote for the NAACP and all the other organizations they have partnered with to help get out the vote. And so I'm just going to let Ashura tell you more about what's going on. So go ahead and take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So, of course, today is the first day of early voting in New York City. And people are already out on the lines. I'm so happy to see that. I just hope that we continue to make sure that everyone gets out and get their vote in and get counted. A lot of people have filled out the absentee ballot. And with good cause, there are a lot of senior citizens and a lot of folks who may have infirmities that can't get out to the poll. So they have filled out their ballot, and we've been trying everything we can to make sure that those get to the Board of Election in a timely manner and that they get counted once they're in. I just think voting is just so important. I've been voting since I was 18. I can remember when my sister, who has since passed away, was trying to vote, and she had to actually take that test. She actually had to take that little test and say, and they ask you all kinds of stupid questions like, how many jelly beans are in the jar, how many sand pebbles are in here, stupid stuff like that. And actually, I still have a copy of that test that my sister had to take. I still have it. I use it as a matter of fact.
For you.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I'm doing civic engagement, seminars or workshops, I use that, with the kids. And I'm like, so these are the tests that people had to take during Jim Crow when we were not allowed to vote. And so now, you have to exercise your right to vote. People don't understand too, Simon. We can register people at the age you can start them at 16. They just can't vote until they're 18, but you can register them at 16. All right. Right. And if you're 17 and your birthday, you're going to have a birthday prior to the election date, register so that you can vote on that day. It is so important that we get out here and vote, especially today. All right. This election is just so important to most of us. Why?
Yes.
Our health care.
Yes.
This pandemic has just wreaked havoc, and it's not going away. It is not. It's going to continue. The winter is coming. The flu season is coming. We're going to be impacted double whammy because we're going to have the flu, then we're going to have the pandemic. And there is no cure.
And then we're going to have the normal sicknesses that people deal with year round, So,
folks
yeah.
Right. Even now, with people with heart conditions, high blood pressure, just getting an appointment with the doctor, even going to the emergency room, it's almost like you just can't get in. Right. So we really do have to exercise our right to vote and get the right person in there that's going to make the decisions that's going to that everything that they do impact our lives. Yes. And what I tell people a lot, too, is why should I vote? Well, everything that you do, the air you breathe, the water you drink is all politicized. They determine how much PPC can go into your water. They determine how much air pollution can get into your air. So it's all political.
Yeah.
So you have to know these things. One of the things I tell people in New York City is don't forget to vote for the judges. Judges impact your life.
Yes.
They impact your lives. We have a number of judges on the ballot. Everyone should, what I suggest you do is look them up. Now, a lot of times you look them up and there's not a whole lot of information about them.
Yeah.
But go with what you have and then go with your gut, right? Who do you think you should vote for? Who do you think is going to impact your life more? We elect judges to the Supreme Court and to the Civil Court. So look them up and decide who you want to vote for. But you need to vote for the judges as well. A lot of people say, "Oh, I just vote for the top of the ticket and that's it." But wait a minute, it's the local level stuff that impacts your life more. So I can tell you, the presidential.
So we cannot just vote for the presidential candidates. We have to continue to vote down
all the way down the ballot.
Yes,
all the way down the ballot.
You got to turn that thing over too, and look at it and read the propositions that are out there. There was like 4 props on our voting out here in Virginia, and you know, had I not read it closely, there were one that was talking about military families being exempt from paying property tax, because you know Virginia got some high taxes. I came from serving in the military 32 years, and so this whole process has always been important for me. I would have to hop on a plane from California to get to New York to vote. Yeah, I could have voted absentee, but I needed to make sure that my vote was counted on the day of, because you know when those numbers starts coming out, yes, we may have some delay, but I'm not ranting over that. We just need to show up, so there's no question, you know. But if I'm not mistaken, the numbers and votes that are revealed on the election day, they start countdown the vote that has come in and people who have voted. It includes the absentee voting. I mean, it includes the early voting.
Yeah, it includes the early voting.
And it includes the in-person voting, right?
Right, yeah. But the absentee ballots don't get counted until after the 3rd of November.
And that's why we want people to just kind of go in right now. At this point, we talked about making your plan to vote. Well, we're beyond making a plan to vote right now, okay?
Now, you got to do it now.
We got 10 days in the home stretch to get this done. And let me just give you 3 reasons why we need to get this done. Mitch McConnell has been sitting on legislation. As you can see how fast he's rushing through the Supreme Court justice within 22 days, and now we're down to getting ready to vote. But in the meantime, he's sitting on the coronavirus relief legislation for 162 days. Okay, he's sitting on the vote to restore the Voting Rights Act for 322 days. And now he's sitting here on the legislation to prevent foreign election interference for 366 days. We need to vote so that we can have control. I believe he probably is holding that as though he may push it, or if they win, he's hoping they win. They're not going to win.
They're not going to push it.
We're showing up in numbers all across. We're showing up in numbers all across the states. I just talked to South Carolina last night. I'm reaching out across the states that I can, and they have never seen such voting turnout that they're seeing now. And so it's amazing. They're trying to turn South Carolina back blue. New York is blue. But the point of the matter is we cannot get complacent. We need to stand up and show up.
Exactly. So I don't care if it's a red state or blue state. It could be any color. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you vote for your candidate, whoever that might be, but vote. We've had too many times where people had died, for us to get this right.
Yes.
Too much, civil unrest has happened for us to have this right. And just in the last couple of years, just what they did with the Voting Rights Act, and they kind of eliminated a lot of the process from that. So we have to be vigilant, and we have to get out here and vote, and we have to vote our conscience, and we have to stick to making sure that not only do we vote, but our children, our family members, our friends. And the other thing I say to people, let's start taking our children to the polls early. Give them, upfront information. So like I usually take my own grandson with me if he's here, I would take him and say, this is how we vote. Okay. And start them with that process early, because we don't teach our young people about voting and civic engagement early in life. We wait till they get to high school, and then we want to start teaching them something. They've already made up their minds about a lot of things, right? Exactly. Yeah. So let's start young, get them actively involved and actively engaged in civil activities so that they understand what it's all about. They don't teach civics in school. They don't teach voting rights in school. So these are things that you have to teach your children. Yeah. These are things that you have to teach your community. And so I'm glad to see that there are a lot of young people who are stepping up to the plate, especially here in Queens. You know, they're out here, they're out here, you know, making their mark. Today, there's so many activities going on today. First day of
Okay.
voting,
Yes.
early
Early voting.
voting
Yes.
in New York. First day. So the lines have already started to form, and there's so many activities going on. Delta Sigma Theta, the Queens Alumni Chapter today is doing a caravan.
I'm
Get out the
representing.
vote.
I'm not a Delta,
You're
but I'm representing
you're
y'all.
repping. Yeah, I'm not a Delta either, but I'm going out to
We're
assist
in this together.
with the caravan. So I'm going to be out there, you know, trying to do my part to make sure that people understand this is time. We have to do it. The Muslim Collective, the Queens Muslim Collective, they're doing something over at York College. So they're trying also. So I'll be going up. My day is full. So I'm out stomping today to make sure that we get counted and we get counted fairly.
Yeah, I just want to give out a shout out to New York, those of you who are listening out there and those other states of my friends that are listening. If your early voting has started, please go out and vote. And my other call to action here is that we take our neighbor, talk to people. We need to start talking to one another, calling one another, and not assuming. I am voting for the fact that, well, I've already voted. I voted day one here in Virginia, early voting. And I'm going to be working the polls. And there are some people who can still make some phone banking calls. We need to volunteer and help. At the same token, we need to be mindful of why we want to vote. It's because already 223,000 people have died. No one should be running for office when you have that many who have died under your watch. And number two is that it didn't have to be that way. And we need to make sure going forward that we have the right leadership, one with compassion, one who can feel what we feel, have the empathy that we have. And so I'm voting for those, like you said, who have fought for the right to vote, and those who did not have to die this year for a pandemic. I'm voting just so that we can have compassion across this country. We need it. And so, like you said, we need to start early. And when we finish on November the 3rd, it's not really the finish, it's really the start.
It's a start. But once you vote, you know, that's not the end of your responsibility. You vote, but you've also got to hold your politician responsible.
Yes.
You hold their feet to the fire. You know, you can't just elect them and just say, okay, I did my job, I elected you, and now I'm done. You have issues going on in your community. You've got to go to them and say, listen, what are you doing about this? How are you helping us? You know, what kind of legislation are you putting forward that's going to protect our rights? All right. So you can't just let them slide on that. You have to make sure that you do that part as well. So I encourage everyone, just get out and vote. I don't care how long the line is.
Yes.
If you can stand online to buy sneakers, you can stand
online
to go to. You can stand online to go to a movie theater. Then you can stand online to vote. That's just That's just how I see it. And we have to take this serious. And for those folks who are saying, I'm not voting. Okay, you're not voting. Understand, you're not voting. And because you don't vote, and whoever wins, you don't have a right to complain.
That's right. If you're not in the ring,
you don't have a right to complain.
You can't complain about it. But everything that happens, whether you vote or not, impacts you. And you're people are saying that, people who are saying that are standing back demanding some things now. The demand is really on us, the people. So when we want to demand things from the leader, we really got to think about what we need to demand of ourselves, and that is to show up. I know people are doing the work, but you can't say in one breath, I need this and I need to see that before I vote. If we are 10 days out, anyone who's undecided to vote at this point right now,
they're not undecided. They know who they're voting for. They just want to tell you they're undecided.
Exactly.
They want to tell you.
We're fighting for our lives right here.
But some of the other things that we tell the young people is that you have to get involved from day one. You can't wait until it's an election time and say, now I just have to vote and that's it. No, you've got to be out here doing the work. I'm still out here. I've been phone banking for Pennsylvania for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. I've been phone banking in Pennsylvania.
You're in New York.
And I'm in New York, but we know that we need to get those Pennsylvania folks out there to vote, right? So
that's right.
Right. So all over the country, we have people who are phone banking from their homes to different parts of the country to make sure that people understand that, you know, voting has started and we need to get out the vote. So phone banking is one thing. Text banking is another thing. Make phone calls to people that you know who may have an issue. So you want to get them out there to vote. If it's a senior who can't get out the vote, but you know that you can help them, take them to the poll.
Yeah.
Take them to the poll.
And this reaches out and intended for people in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Florida. We need all the votes that we can. So we're here talking about New York, we're actually talking to everyone who is listening.
We're talking about the country.
We're talking about the country. We need you to make that call. Just vote. Exercise your right. Can you imagine never having the right to vote? I think about my parents. They didn't always have that right to vote until shortly, before I was born, you know? Yeah. And I just can't imagine never having the right to vote. I cannot imagine.
And I told you about the voting test that my sister had to take. And, you know, people say, well, my vote don't count. One vote makes a difference. Go online. There's a lot of information about Al Gore lost, not because he didn't have the votes, but the Supreme Court, and here we are, we're putting another person on the Supreme Court who's far to the right and is not going to be looking at how we feel about things. All right. They're going to put their own values and their own spin on what they're going to do. And this man has put 3 Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. But beyond that, he's put almost 200 people on federal court benches. Those people are going to impact our lives for generations to come because they're lifetime appointments.
Yeah, exactly. And
get it done.
As much as we are voting, they're in the courts right now, trying to find every cause and every reason to even stop and to suppress the vote by ending curbside voting. You know,
they've already filed over 200 lawsuits.
Yes,
200. They've already filed over 200 lawsuits.
We won 5 yesterday in court. I don't have them listed in front of me, but I know that they were trying to stop curbside voting across the state.
Well, they failed.
And they failed.
They failed.
I'm trying to track it as much as I can. I know they got 12 more cases.
There's a lot. There's so much to track. And understand that we're not going to know on election day who actually is going to be the president of the United States. Understand that. And there are going to be lawsuits upon lawsuits, because this man has falsely, accused people of filing ballots that are invalid because they're mail-in and all this fraud and stuff that every expert that has come on has said there is no evidence of, right?
Yeah. And we have to continue to stay vigilant. I don't know what else I can say except to remind people, November the 3rd is the last day to vote. We want to vote early and we want to get it done. And so I just want to thank you for getting up early this morning. I know I called you yesterday. I was like, can we talk about New York? Can we talk about New York? And that's all we really have to keep doing is just showing up and talking about it so people know that there's a call to action for every one of us to lead. And to lead is we need to find your local NAACP and just go and join them. They're happening all across the country today. So I just want to thank you so much. This has been wonderful, very informative. And I wish I was there to jump on the caravan because New York knows how to do it.
We're going to do it.
Noise. And so I'm going to be following you guys and finding if anybody can post some updates for us.
I will.
I think it'd be really great. So we can still, how long does the event happen today?
So the caravan is for 2.5 hours.
And where do it start at?
It starts at Roy Wilkins Park.
Okay.
So we're meeting there at 10:45 for pull out at 11, and we are returning at 2. So there should be a lot of cars going in all different directions on the southern part of Queens. And then the next 2 weeks, they're doing one in Rockaway next Sunday and one on the northern side of Queens the following Sunday. All
right, listeners, if you can just make a comment, let us know that you're watching, and let us know that there will be that you can show up. Just respond here and keep us updated with what you're able to do. So today is an opportunity for every single one of us, regardless of our age, to get out and vote. Take somebody to the poll. You may not have it on your agenda today, but today is one of the best days to just get out to vote. And just tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and report back here to this feed. Because I'm checking in every day just to comment back to each one of you. Because I appreciate you taking the time to listen and to comment, because I'm reaching out to different states. And if you have someone you'd recommend me to reach out to, please message me on Facebook. Y'all have turned me into a social media person. I normally just kind of scroll through, but I need to be engaged. And so if I can step out of my comfort zone and stay engaged more than I normally have, that's because I want to put my best foot forward. I am praying, but I'm also working on this end. So yes, we need to protest, we need to pray, but we also need to vote so we can change policies. So if you can't remember nothing else, just remember the 3 Ps: protest, pray, and policies. And we need to take all of us to get it done. So thank you so much. I know you got to run. I know your event starts soon. And so bless you so much. I hope to see you soon, okay?
Thank you for having me. And yes, everyone get out and vote.
Yes. And if you want to put out another message, I'm here for you anytime you want to. Thank you so much. Bless you and have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.